Right, so been grinding away. Man, I'm really worried sound quality. It's gonna, yeah, whatever. I'll apologize later. It was awful. Anyway, or I won't apologize. So yeah, I've been grinding away on Korr, and yeah, so this is page one. The best news is I'm pretty far into this. I've been really grinding away hardcore on pencils, so I'm pretty much at the stage where really got no choice. Really, really going to have to finish it. I'm far enough into it that I'm going to have to do that. So yeah, what I thought I would talk about here is really I'm wrapping up this page, and so the color, yeah, I've pretty much got the colors down or set for this, or how the colors are going to go. Yeah, so I just want to talk. So I'm not always going to talk about like process here because I'm sure like I know that's going to get boring. I think I've said that before. But yeah, so just what I thought I would show you here is, and certainly welcome to express opinions on it. Tell me what you think, how it's going. Yeah, I thought I'd show you the basic color scheme or the basic color ideas I have for the book, at least at these stages. Although I'm not really that stressed about it because one thing I kind of have noticed, checking out a lot of comics and checking out a lot of stuff, it's really just not that. I mean, what you figure out real fast, I got it wrong later. It's a problem with layers. Anyway, what you figure out pretty fast is storytelling kind of conquers all. Whatever you think you're going to do artistically, yeah, you can do that, but end of the day, you got to be telling a story with this thing, and that's going to dictate certain concerns. I mean, that's going to take certain choices out of your hands, so to speak. You're going to have to depict certain things, and some things are going to work and some things are not going to work. So, like, for example, I really kind of like looking at possibly like a real muted color scheme, like really kind of low key. And I think I may have mentioned it before, but originally I thought of Korr being like almost like trying to look like kind of like old master drawings, kind of like old chalk, Conte, very much like old master drawings. And yeah, I tried some of that, it looked okay, but like the problem was really, it was hard to convey certain things. It was hard to convey, like if it's a night, or a certain action is happening. Yeah, it didn't work so great for that. So, it's just a pretty simple, straightforward calculation with some of the stuff, with a lot of the stuff actually. So you're trying to tell a story, so it's just like, look, you're gonna have to do what helps tell the story. And so in this case, yeah, it was color. Or the more, like I said, I thought about, and I did some experiments with some really muted, pretty muted palette with a pretty low-key sort of color thing. A lot of earth tones and so forth. Yeah, and it didn't work. Also, the one thing I should also add is another thing is that I've noticed, or that I also think is effective. The color needs to change oftentimes to suit the book. Like there's different parts of the book are going to convey a certain mood. It's not. And I know you do that in film, but it's not kind of like, I think it would be hard to get the same kind of consistency. You got to see a film and there's a certain look that it has, or a certain consistent look that it's going to have. And the same things for funny books, the same things for comic books here. But yeah, I think more kind of radical change in the colors sometimes are going to work. Also, another thing is just like, you want the book to be all of a piece. You want the book to kind of make sense. Like you don't want the book to be like wildly different in one part from another. Although I've seen I've seen cases where that kind of works. But it definitely needs to be all of a piece. It can't be just like stuff all kind of smashed together. And so, yeah, wildly varying color or something like that is going to kind of mess with that. It's going to look like not a single book, not a single idea. It's just going to kind of look like kind of all over the place, and that's not fun. That's not cool. But as long as the colors, I think, are not insanely out of hand or something, the consistency in the inking, the consistency in the style, the consistency in the drawing, the consistency of just the overall design of the book, I think takes care of a lot of those problems, eliminates a lot of those difficulties. So yeah, as I say here, I'm really just trying to put down the final. Really, I'm just trying to finalize this stuff. So putting finishing touches, as it were, on this page. Although, yeah, let me admit there's some things I'm going to need to clean up. But that's not. What the hell? All right. Let's try this again. Yeah. All right, there we go. Yeah, so I'm looking to crank on this. I took a long time on this page. I should say, I know this is page 1, and that seems like, yeah, okay, so you've made like basically no progress at all. Well, not, like I said, I've really cranked out a lot of pencils and a lot of inks. I got a lot of, pretty far into it. And again, I'm far enough into this that, like I say, I got to finish it. So I've cranked pretty far along on pencils, on inks, on color even. I got several pretty thoroughly colored pages. They were experimental stage, and I'm finalizing them. So this was pretty much finalized, but I thought it would be, I don't know, I thought it would be cool to kind of come along and do like the, show off the final stages here and give you an idea of what the color is going to look like, at least in this stage of the book. And yeah, see what you think, see how you like it. Like I said, there'll be some stupid cleaning up later, but for all intents and purposes, maybe not for all intents and purposes, but this is really quite a finished stage. So this is just the boring, taking care of the blades of grass, which should give you some idea of the scale and some idea of right, we're dealing with a tundra here, we're dealing with a grassland with these prehistoric rhinoceri feeding, grazing, chilling out and being cool. And this is, of course, the opening sequence of Korr, where, really just establishing the hunters, kind of an opening, kind of an establishing opening action sequence. And it's been a lot of fun to work on. Really effectively done with it now. So as I say, I'm just kind of trying to come along and finish color plans. So, yeah. All right. Gonna figure out other things to talk about, or I'm gonna get boring. People can let me know, like, do you like the solid color? Do you not like the solid color? At this point, I'm pretty stoked about it. I may try some experiments. I may try some different things, but I'm thinking for the most part, I'm settled on this for now. So do you think it's too graphic? Do you think it doesn't suit the book? Do you think it needs minor adjustments? Yeah, feel free definitely to get at me. Let me know opinions. Yeah, feedback welcome. So yeah, what else to talk about? Been getting outside a lot. Been like spending a lot of time outside. Weather's been pretty freaking awesome. Here, we got back to the heat, which I don't know, personally, I'm kind of glad of it. I kind of like, these 80-degree days, these 80-degree plus days. think of some particularly hot days coming up. But yeah, I was kind of missing it, and I'm not in a hurry to get to the winter. I love the winter. I love the cold. I really dig it. But yeah, I'm just not in a hurry to get there. There'll be plenty of it once it comes along. So there's no rush, at least as far as I'm concerned. So like I said, I was kind of stoked to get the cold back. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and some of this I'm just gonna come along and clean up later. Some of this is just a lot of this is just boring grunt work here at this stage. So let's see. Take a look at. All right, so crank up the opacity on that again. So yeah, the basic opening sequence, the dark here, and then which is the eye of the dark of the eye of the rhinoceros, then close up on the eye as the camera draws back, right, very, very widescreen. This prehistoric woolly mammoth type rhinoceri, unicorn. Yeah, some of these lines are too light. I'll fix that. I'm drawing back to this scene. So then, right, obviously all the way back, we have sky, we have birds. Let's see. Yeah, we have the gray of the mountains behind. Yeah, and that's going to some things to deal with there. We have more of the ground. And then finally we have the pools of muddy type water. So yeah, just really a few spots to deal with. But yeah, that's mainly what this is what I really want to show. I really wanted to show the initial, the basic color idea that I have, at least for this early stage of the book, and it's been pretty consistent. See, it's become a lot more. It's become a lot more colorful than I thought it would be. I thought it would be, I don't know, much darker, much grayer, much heavier, much more earth tony, and it's still pretty earth tony, but it's definitely more color than I thought, and yeah, still a few minor adjustments to make, but thought I should go ahead and provide some kind of progress report and show that I actually have been working. Surprisingly, I've been working pretty consistently and pretty hard on it. I don't know if that's really surprising, but yeah, a lot of exercise, like I said, and that tends to make me really productive. I don't know, if I'm exhausted, I find it a lot easier to work on this stuff. That kind of doesn't make sense, but there it is. So, I'm on the right layer. Problem with layers. Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. Okay. I'm going to bail. I don't want this to be too long, and I want to do these pretty regularly. So, I want to tax you with like a massive one right now. So I'm just going to finish up here. What else is going on? Finished reading Jane Eyre. Loved it. Freaking awesome book. Man, totally rocked. Highly, highly recommended. Damn it. Yeah, okay, this is really irking me. I'm not really sure what the hell is going on here with the color. Some kind of problem I'm having with the layers and damn it, why is the opacity 61 here? What the hell? Okay, that explains a lot. Stupid. Man, oh God, how embarrassing is that? Why does that color suck? Why is that color not what I want? All right, now the opacity cranked up properly. Oh, thank God. All right. Man, so freaking sick of that. This is driving me insane. Earlier, basically, I had the opacity of the stupid layer messed up, and man, what killing me here. Way too much agonizing over that. All right. Knock this out, and then I got to roll. So, but yeah, like I said, I'm going to try and crank out these and, well, the videos. I want to do like relatively short ones. I don't want to try your patience too much. And yeah, I figure short, regular videos better than long, tedious ones. Yeah, so there you go. Opening page. Really mainly here concerned with the coloring. Yeah, let me know what you think if you get a chance. And yeah, thanks for checking this out. Yeah, see ya. Have a great whatever. Later.